something I've been talking about it for 2 months now since I started this channel, which is the U.S. debt. Okay, from Yellen to Powell to now, which I believe that these people run the country. By the way, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock. If you guys believe it, I believe it. I think BlackRock's and Fidelity's and many other extremely powerful entities run the country. I don't think it's the senators. I don't think it's anybody else. Well, senators to a point, definitely not the president. These people have immense amount of power, and he's joining the bandwagon, my bandwagon, because I've been talking about this U.S. debt being out of control for 2 months now, and I've been talking obviously privately with friends for years, right? And it's just getting worse and worse. And Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, says America's 35 trillion national debt will be a big burden on the backs of our children. I mean, I urge you, plead with you, just go back to a few hours ago, what I said about my kids. And I directly said, I feel horrible for my kids. I'm on this planet, hopefully for another 20 years, but what they're doing to the average American through this spending out of control habits is unconscionable. Okay. Now, certain people have control over this, obviously. Who are they? That's the Congress, right? So Congress creates the fiscal policy, and the Fed follows with monetary policy to support that fiscal policy. Well, the Fed's hands are kind of tied. Not that I'm a huge fan of the Fed or Powell or Yellen. Well, Yellen is in the cabinet, but Powell is just following what he has in front of him, just like I follow my trades by looking at charts, right? So the problem with this is that this is going to create a massive, it's like figure out you're in jail the old days. You had a bowl and a chain attached to your leg. This is what's happening to the U.S. now. That 35 trillion is becoming a massive ball and chain that the economy has to drag around, and it's more blood is getting sucked, more energy is getting sucked out of the economy. Although the economy supposedly is doing well, I don't think it is. I think the average American, the middle class, whatever you guys want to call that, I don't think middle class exists anymore. We know what happened with the printing of the money, and because Fed had to print money to save the economy, because our economy is 80% of our GDP is consumer spending, right? And then when COVID hit, Fed printed $7-8 trillion, pumped it into the economy, and that created the inflation that we've been experiencing over the last 2-3 years now. And inflation on the average American is like a tax hike. Okay, we're all paying for it, including myself, including all of you who watch this now or later. I am disgusted with this, and I cannot emphasize that enough. I am disgusted with it. What can I do? I mean, I can run for politics, locally, start locally, city council, and then move on. I think I am such a straight shooter that they will probably find some dirt on me from the past 40 years and this 35 years in this country, and they'll probably shoot me down. But I am disgusted with this. Okay, I feel horrible for my kid's future. I have a daughter who's going to med school, college, and I keep talking to them and I keep explaining this to them. And I hope this is fixed. I doubt it. I don't see, my crystal ball doesn't say so. But so Larry Fink of BlackRock joined the party. Welcome, sir. Much appreciated. Billionaire. He's a billionaire. He doesn't have to worry about much. I mean, we know what has happened to the 1% versus the 99% in this country. Again, I'm a capitalist. I'm not a socialist. I hate the government. I do not like the government, what they do. I have no trust in the government. That goes back to my roots from being from the Middle East. Initially, I'm an immigrant, obviously, but I have come to this country. This country has given me everything I have. I'm appreciative and thankful for it. But what they have done last 15, 20 years is just disgusting to me. Absolutely disgusting to me. And I see the writing on the wall. It's not going to get better. Okay. So billionaire Larry Fink has added his name to the growing chorus. Yeah, welcome to the chorus, sir. This is my message, not just to the US, but every country right now will have rising deficits. No one is spending enough time talking about deficits. Sir, I'm here. I know nobody knows me, but I've been talking about this for years, and now publicly on YouTube for at least 2 months since I started the channel. Literally every single episode, I talk about this. Okay. And no one is spending enough time to talk about the deficits. Yeah, well, because they don't have to, right? I mean, who are the deficits hurting? The average American, not you, sir, with your $30 billion sitting in a New York penthouse. I'm not, look, I'm not trying to bash any of these people, but I don't think they truly care. I think it's more of a photo op or PR. They just have to say things to look good. And we need to be finding ways to minimize the role of the deficit on the economy. Yeah, good luck. How do you do that? How do you do that, sir, when the deficit is $1 trillion, okay, every 100 days is getting added to that 35 trillion now, okay? Well, yeah, how do we do that? Deficits on the economy, on interest rates, on inflation. Well, yeah, all right, cool. The main concern of experts isn't simply the volume of the debt, it is the volume of the debt. We're at 35, we're about to get to 36. By the end of the year, we'll be at 37. Indeed, a certain level of debt is necessary. I agree, completely agree. Debt is the oil of the economy. I have debt, but it's controlled debt. It's according to my budget debt. It's not out of control debt, okay? Everybody should borrow money. Everybody should have good credit, but it shouldn't be abused. And we know what happens when you abuse it. And, you lose your job, then what? You're going bankrupt, right? I said this again in previous shows. I think U.S. is the much bigger version of Greece, right? The only difference is Greece cannot print money, and we can't print money because the dollar is still, supposedly, is still the chosen currency of the world, and that's the only reason we can get away with any of this. So, as America's national debt nears 35 trillion mark, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink has warned the country's growth must keep up in order to pay the bills. Yes, that is the problem. But what is happening, sir, with all due respect to you and to Janet Yellen and to Powell and all the idiots in Washington, is this. Our consumer spending is 80% of GDP. Consumer is pulling back. Once consumer starts pulling back, economy cannot grow. We cannot just keep issuing plastic to people and expect them to spend and go to their limits right away on these new credit cards. That's what we're doing. We don't create anything. We don't have manufacturing. We don't have anything. All we do is just buy shit that we don't need. And the banks facilitate that by issuing more and more credit. It's borrowed money. The people, the average person is doing the same thing. The government's doing the same thing. Everybody's doing the same thing. It's out of control. And the United States public debt is an issue that has been steadily climbing in the national agenda. Jerome Powell believes it's past time to have an adult conversation. I would love to interview Jerome Powell. While JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon believes debt is the most predictable crisis facing the American economy. Okay, so we have billionaires and we have poor me saying the same thing. So we're agreeing, actually. But then what is the solution? What is the solution, right? The solution is have a goddamn balanced budget. Stop spending the money you don't have. I cannot run my household with a blown up budget. And these people don't do it. They just talk about it. Why don't we balance the U.S. budget once in a while? How about that? We had that balanced budget amendment, but then every time a crisis comes around, what do? We chuck it, put it in the trash can, and then we go, let's print some money. Let's save the economy. Let's save the people who ran bad businesses. Let's have too big to fail. Let's do all this stuff. Let's keep them alive. Let's keep them alive. Well, no. If you're running a bad business, you deserve to die. So what they should do is they should let the bad businesses go away, and good businesses by smart people who know about budgets should get creative. So I don't want to rant too much more, but I am disgusted with what is going on. So hopefully you agree with me, guys. And pass this power hour along. Please share it. Help me get to 1,000 subs. I appreciate the support, but at least there is somebody here out of the average American that is feeling the pressure and talking about this issue. So the next subject, a lot of these subjects are going to be kind of related to each other today, because I will not be able to share my screen with you because I cannot log on to Schwab due to the CrowdStrike and Microsoft problem. And that goes to show that proves one thing, that you need to have backups in this world. And, backups are important because at the moment, I have no idea where my Schwab account is, honest to God, right? I mean, I can open it tomorrow and then $150,000 would be gone. I don't know. How do I this is the problem with the internet, by the way, right? But then we depend on it to do everything on it. But then now I don't know what's going on.